Welcome to Impact. I hope you enjoyed the new intro. I've done that for SmackDown, so now I've also done it for TNA. Now I want to say that I know anybody's going to see this and say, dude, why did you use Zema Ion for the X Division? Well, at one point I liked him in the X Division as the champ. He actually was pretty good many years ago, I think around 2011 to 12. I say around 2012 he was doing pretty well. At least until they just let him go and not really care. But that's how I felt about Zema Ion. I always felt he was a good X Division champ. So I'm going to leave it like that. Even though Lashley is now X Division and World Champ. Which I will talk about in a few minutes. But the thing I want to talk about first will be about the storylines that's going on. And the clusterfucking of it. Sorry for my language, but let's be honest here. They are trying to fit 10 pounds into a 2-pound bag with the stories. It would be better if they had done half the stories now, then next week do another half. Because there was a lot going on. Because when you look at the beginning of the show, and you look at Lashley having a fight with Moose, and Mike Bennett having a fight with Eddie Edwards, you would think they would continue that a little bit more than what it went. But no, they dropped it like it was a hot potato, and went straight into Matt and Jeff. Which I can say this. I will say this about Matt and Jeff. We know Jeff is writing for the show. And to be honest, it shows. The show feels different. You may not like seeing Matt getting that spotlight. And I've always said this, I'm going to keep saying it. I know Matt is not a great talent. He's always been a good talent. He always gives, in most cases, a very consistent work. In the ring or outside the ring. You can say a lot about him that you don't like him, but you can say as a top tier to a mid tier to a lower tier, he's a good mid tier worker. He is. And I'm going by that premise because of how the writing has been. Showing him in the beginning of the show with his brother where Matt's trying to say, you will not make the jump that you broke your leg with. And Jeff doing the jump and failing was nice to see. They're doing more stuff outside the impact zone, which we've been asking for. Many people have been asking, we see so much in the impact, there's nothing going on, we're bored with it. Now we're getting it. And as much as you don't like Matt, or you don't want to see Matt and Jeff, you are seeing more. And I hope they'll expand beyond Matt and Jeff and do more for everybody else. Which will probably take a while because this is not going to end by Bound for Glory. I think it'll go beyond this. Anyway, both the matches make sense because how Jeff has written the show. Now, when it comes to Eli Drake, dummy, yeah, you say dummy, I say yeah, dummy. I didn't tell you to say dummy, I told myself. I did not think Eli Drake could get it over. I'm sorry, I did not think after the first 2 facts of life it would work. But it has worked to a very strong extent. People are saying, yeah, I like that. I actually do enjoy it when he does that. I am Eli Drake. I am the be-all end-all of professional wrestling. Yeah, I had to say it. Yeah. I'm sorry, I went a little too far with that. But you can see that I'm enjoying this. And I'm glad that it's gotten over. See him go against EC3. It, out of all the matches, I felt was the most technical out of the entire bunch. The second one I'll talk about in a minute. But it was a very good technical match. And I felt that they did the best work. I did enjoy this match the most. And of course EC3 had to win. It had to happen. The next match was the second most technical, was Drew versus Brent. Well, not the second most technical. Technical. I'll say that it was somewhat technical, mostly Smash Mouth. And I enjoyed that. That was the second match of the night for me personally. I enjoyed that match second. Now I know you could say, what about Drew? Not Drew. What about basically Eddie Edwards and Lashley? I will talk about them in a minute. But I felt that that was the second best match of the night for me personally. And the thing that gets me, why would you do the Rosemary Bram segment And I know I didn't really see Rosemary because I was having problems seeing the video at that point, because I did see most of it. But you guys tell me below, I didn't see Rosemary at that match. I didn't see it. I didn't see her interfering. I could be wrong because, like I said, I had a problem seeing that parts of most of that match. I saw the rest of the matches were pretty good. I was able to see it. But that match I had a problem with. So you guys tell me below if Rosemary was there, because as far as I know, because of even with the breaks in it, she didn't appear. And it was Drew who won that match all by himself. There wasn't no problems because of Rosemary. So you guys tell me below. The Tribunal beating up on Shera. Now, Shera's going to be shown next week in round 2. I understand. That makes sense. And I have to say, I'm glad to see no Guido. I'm glad. So the next thing I want to talk about, the thing that gets me about the State of the Knockouts address was how few women there are in there. Oh man, it hurts me. It hurts me to see there's only 7 women to work with when we should have 15 or 20 women there. How many men we got? At least 25 to 20 men there, and we only have 7 women. TNA, please. Please. We need more women. We just need more women. And even though, what is her name? Ali. I don't know why I blanked on Ali's name. Cherry Bomb, I love her. I didn't think I would love her this much because she's the type of woman that is so annoying you want to strangle her neck. But that's the appeal of her. She drives you insane and makes you fall in love with her. I am a little nuts in the head, so that's the reason why. I still don't care about Maria. I understand her role and it's working. And I'm alright with it. But I love Ali. I just do. And oh my goodness, I have to say this. Jade is a very chesty woman. She's just beautiful. And she spoke so well. And it hurts me to see that this is still going to be about Gail Kim. It upsets me that they're trying to set this up for Gail Kim so she can become TNA Knockouts champion before she goes into the Hall of Fame. I don't think anyone has gone into the Hall of Fame holding a title for TNA. I could be wrong. I don't remember right now. But honestly, she might be the first. And I don't like that. I don't want to see her do this. Now, of course, we had a ceremonial fight. Now, Madison Rain's going to be the first person she's going to meet to try and go along this gauntlet that she's got to go through to try and go through Sierra to get the title. I really don't want to see this. I want to see Jade. It would have been easier if Jade had been champ and Marty Bell had been her opponent. Now we get Jade and Marty Bell fighting one another for nothing. And that upsets me personally. Now, the Fixer. Say this quickly. I feel sorry for Brodus Clay. Tyrus. I feel sorry for him because he has potential to do something else. I know a lot of people think he's nothing but a stupid jobber, a big fat ass jobber, but the guy could have been more dominant than this. I would have liked to see him change his work set. I would have liked to see him change his ring attire. And I would have liked to see him have a storyline that makes some sense. But this is all we get. The Fixer. And I feel like this isn't enough for him. And I feel like this is kind of a waste for him. He's not the most greatest talent, but it doesn't mean he's bad. And I really feel like there should be more for him. Let's see, anything else? Let's see. If I'm forgetting anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. In my apartment, it's 93 degrees, even with air conditioning on. Well, actually, I have no air conditioning. I have a fan, because the air conditioning, if you run it in here, the equipment works fine, but your rent and your electricity goes through the roof because of very old, crappy wiring. So I'm in a very hot apartment. So this is now about Lashley versus Eddie Edwards in the steel cage. Easily you could say this is the third best match of the night. I believe the reason I said it's the third instead of the second or first is because I've seen this more than a few times, and even though there is a stipulation where you cannot win by just going out of the ring, it has to be pinfall or submission, and that Moose and Mike Bennett could not come out. If they did, they would be fired. Well, Mike would be fired. Moose is just there. It was understandable. It was a good match. But the problem for me was at the end of the match, because Lashley won. And I'm glad he did, because I felt like having the X Division and the World Champ, you'll have both sets of type of guys that Lashley can go up against. He can defend it against guys who are small and now defend it against guys who are big. He got the World Championship and he got the X Division, so now you can actually have him do things that you normally wouldn't see a very big heavyweight do. And that hopefully will give us something more, because to be honest, they didn't have much of an option. But this is alright. It was just after the match, because you got everyone who won their matches, which was EC3, which was Mike Bennett, which was basically Matt Hardy and Drew Galloway. All of them coming out fighting one another. I don't remember seeing Moose. I guess they're leaving that for later. But to be honest, I felt that wasn't necessary. I would have liked to just see Lashley shine and then let Jeremy come into the ring and basically interview him and say how great he was. I felt that was more important than actually seeing the fight at the end. So that's the reason why it's not the first and best match of the night. But it was a good show. But honestly, it felt very scatterbrained. They had a lot going on that could have been split in half and done in the next week. And even though they did an extended time, and I don't know how much of a time they did because I had to see it after the fact. Maybe it was an extra 10, 20 minutes. I don't know. You guys can tell me below. I would like to know how long was the show actually on television. Was it 2.5 hours? Was it 2 hours and 10 minutes or 2 hours and 20? I would like to know. And oh, almost forgot. My girl, my tank top girl, that sexy tank top girl was there. I will be showing images of her. I don't care if my face is not here. I'm going to put her there. Yeah, she could be a teenager, or maybe she's a full-grown adult, and she wouldn't even think of me like anybody else, but I'm glad she's there. I love her. She's just beautiful. And I had to say, no, Remy's boobies are still nice. I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. I'm very sorry this is late. I got fried yesterday on Friday. I had to go to an appointment. I went out in 94-degree heat. I got fried. That's why this is late. I'm very sorry. And I hope you understand and have a good day and a cool night. Care for yourself because it's hot in New York, so everywhere else has got to be hot. See ya!